Well, good afternoon and welcome to Hervey Bay, where I took the bus for 7.5 hours from Brisbane and got here about 4 p.m. just in time for the orientation for the Fraser Island tour tomorrow. We just got done with that and they put us in groups of 8 people, which my group is kind of already leaving right now to go get food. But we're going to be in the same vehicle, so some of us are going to be driving periodically. And yeah, we need to go get food for everything right now because there is no food facilities on the island. And there's no freezers. We're just taking like coolers with all of our day's supply. So it's gonna be pretty interesting. I hope I have enough battery power to show you the entire trip. But we're gonna head to the spa next door right now and yeah, get our food for the next few days and then start making pre-made sandwiches. And probably grab some alcohol too because you can't buy any on the island. So the spa next door didn't quite work out because it's a little bit too expensive. So we sent some of the girls who had a car to go grab the rest of the food, and I'm gonna head to another shop, grab a few snacks and stuff like that to put in my bag, because you've got to pack it down into one small like carry-on that you can keep with you on the seat to not take up all the room in the vehicle. And another fun fact is there is, I believe, 5 Germans, 2 Swedes, and me, the only native English-speaking American. And that means I will probably have to have a little German and Swedish lesson this weekend. So our little group has returned from the grocery store, and this behind me is what we're going to do. All that food needs to go into this cooler or into our bags by tomorrow morning. So we finally divided up all the stuff into bags by meal. So there's going to be stuff for barbecue, stuff for breakfast and lunch. Hopefully this system works. About 7:30 this morning and we're heading off in our convoy to the pickup point for the ferry. So we've got most of our group in the vehicle. It is kind of tight up front here though. We've got 3 of us and I'm kind of straddling the stick shift here, which is not the most comfortable, but we fit 8 people in here. All right, time to go 4-wheeling on some sand.
Yeah, good work, thanks guys, well done.
This is what they call Central Station. This was the central area of the timber cutting industry on Fraser Island. The timber that was cut here was very valuable. Most of the trees here, or the bigger trees, were worth between $70,000 and $80,000 each. They wanted these jobs, the timber cutting here, to last forever. They wanted their kids and their kids and their kids to be able to cut timber here on Fraser. Now this is extremely important. We are in an isolated area of Australia here, even though we're only 12 minutes to the mainland by plane. We are isolated. Medical assistance here could take anything up to 3 hours from paramedic.
Ein kleiner Schritt für die Menschheit.
Every broken bone, I swear I live.
I have a wonderful electronic invention I want you to see.
Alright, so we made it to our campsite, it looks like. This is where we'll be for the night. We are going to be staying in these tents in here. Dark, but you can see them. So after having a quick lunch and a tour around the campsite that we're going to be at for the next 3 days, 2 nights, we're going to head to Lake Wabi now. Hey, how you doing?
How are we all?
Good.
All right. What's with the fairy thing?
Oh, this is a fuzzy thing for wind. It's a microphone.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, I'm with you. Yeah. No drinks today?
No.
No?
First day here. Maybe tomorrow.
Or tonight, probably. One long breath out until I tell you to stop begging. Keep going, keep going, keep going. That's right, no worries. Everyone got their seatbelts on for me? Yes. Safe travels, enjoy it safe.
What does it say?
0-0.
After a walk that seemed like forever, but was probably only about a half an hour, we have finally come to the inland lake, Lake Wabi. And it's pretty beautiful around here. It's like a desert with really fine-grained sand, and then all of a sudden it slopes down into the lake. So we just went through the surf and got all over the car. So we came back to camp after the Lake Wallaby, So we came back to the camp after the Lake Wabi adventure, and it's about supper time, so everybody's hungry, and we're all going to start cooking and drinking and listening to music. Gonna have a good night tonight, wake up tomorrow, and head down to the north end of the island here. Quick fun fact, this is the biggest all-sand island in the world. So one thing I thought would never happen this week on Fraser Island is it's raining a little bit. It's been raining for maybe a half an hour, 45 minutes. But it's not, it's just a little bit of a sprinkle, but yeah, I never thought it would be this kind of weather out here.
This is the shipwreck of the TSS Mahino. This was built in 1905 in Scotland on the Clyde. It was built for New Zealand Steamship Company, and it was a very fast ship. This is what the ship looked like originally. It was taken off the run and turned into a hospital ship for the Great War. It was also instrumental on taking around 11,000 injured soldiers, Australians and New Zealanders, off the shores of Gallipoli.
So the wreck of the Mahino has been here for over 80 years. It's been here since the late 30s, and it was originally just a ferry ship between Australia, New Zealand, and Canada, and then they sold it to the Japanese, and the Japanese were towing it back from Sydney, and a cyclone came and broke the tow rope, and it kind of drifted out to Fraser Island here over 5 days and landed here. And what you see here is probably only about a third of what the actual ship is under the sand, because it's been here for 80 years getting slowly sunken by the sand. So they say in about 20 or 30 years they might not be able to see much more than the top of the smokestacks there.
Good one.
So this place is actually one of the 3 points on the island where the island started forming millions of years ago, where the sand started to build up, and it kind of went all the way back, and now you have this big beautiful island. Tour guide Rango has driven us out into the middle of the island, out into the woods here, and shown us this cool tree, which there's no tree on the inside of it actually, it's just all around the outside, it's rotted away. Oh look, I'm over there. So after a pretty adventurous day going up the coast and back down the coast of Fraser Island, we were back at camp, and I'm pretty happy that we're back because I'm starving and we're making burgers tonight. That's fine. Well, good morning. We made it through to day 3 and we're packing up the campsite right now, and we're going to head out to Lake Mackenzie here in a little bit. And it's a little bit overcast, but there might be the possibility of doing the scenic plane flight still this morning if it doesn't rain anymore. It did start raining at like 3 or 4 in the morning, and it was raining pretty hard earlier, so it's not the greatest day, but we can deal with it.
Snapchat, hit Snapchat, but it's Snapchat.
I'm not as fast as you, but
Fuck.
I'm still Sauerkraut. Schnitzelwraps.
Bratwurst.
Sind 2 belegte Brote.
Ein Schinken, eins mit Eis.
Eisgekühlter Bommerlunder. Danke.
Bommerlunder eisgekühlt. Eis und dazu.
Eisgekühlter Bommerlunder.
Bommerlunder eisgekühlt.
So after another rough ride inland, we are here at Lake Mackenzie, and this is going to be one of our last stops for the trip. We do Lake Mackenzie and then we head back, have lunch, catch the ferry at 2. So we made it back to Kingfisher Bay, which is where they're going to pick us up on this long pier behind me. The ferry comes right over there. It was a great time overall, and I would definitely suggest coming out to Fraser Island if you ever get the chance. Thank you for watching this video on Fraser Island. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe below. I have some awesome adventures coming up. In the meantime, you can click on these 2 videos over here or check out my social media below for some behind the scenes content. And remember, be safe and travel more.